Hey guys, it's Cecile. For those of you guys who don't know me, I'm currently a sophomore at Brown University, and I basically made this YouTube channel to share with you guys the advice that I wish I'd known when I was in high school, applying at college and scholarships and doing all that kind of stuff. So if that sounds interesting to you, make sure to subscribe to this channel, hit the like down below, and hit that bell to get notified every single time I post. Okay, so I'm just gonna get right to the point. Right now is a very stressful time for students who are rejected or deferred from their top choices, or for students who haven't even applied to their top choices yet. So I wanted to cover a very important topic in this video, and that is writing a really good letter of continued interest to these universities to increase your chances of admission. So just to clarify, a letter of continued interest is basically a letter that you're going to send in the form of an email to the admissions office of the school that you're interested in. And most of the time, the applicants that do this are the ones that were deferred from that school if they applied like early or put on a wait list later on, or even the applicants that applied regular decision that want to update that college on new things that they've done since applying. With this letter, there's kind of like an unspoken format that you're supposed to follow, which I'm going to be going over in a little bit, just because these universities don't want to just read a bunch of letters that are basically students begging to be admitted. I also just want to clarify that if your college or university explicitly says not to send these letters, please do not do it, because it might actually harm you in that situation. Essentially, the point of these letters is to use them very strategically. You're trying to prove to the admissions office that you're still very interested in that school and bring attention to your original application and the new stuff that you've done since submitting that application. If you're a student that was deferred or put on a wait list, your application is basically like a maybe to the admissions office, but we want to turn that maybe into a yes. And although you don't really have much control over the waitlist and stuff like that, if spots do turn up and open up in some way, you want to be the first person that they think of to admit. Now, before you even start drafting this letter, I think it's really important to make a list of everything you've done since your application, like all those new updates, just to kind of clarify things and make sure everything's organized. So some examples of the things that you could include are improvements in grades, improvement in test scores, awards/honors that you got, new extracurriculars that you're picking up, a new job/opportunity/internship, something like that, a new project/hobby that you're doing, or even just anything that proves that you've changed as an applicant or improved. Also, keep in mind, you only technically have to report positive things that have happened, so I wouldn't recommend saying that your grades have dropped, or maybe you didn't get an award that you thought that you were going to get that you put in your Common App. That kind of stuff that presents you in a negative light, just don't add it. So for the start of the letter, you should start by thanking the reader for reevaluating your application, and then you should reaffirm your interest in the school. So if it's your top choice school, say that, especially because for schools that are really protective about the yield rates, which are basically the amount of admits that later commit to that school, these schools don't want to waste spots or admits on people that will not actually come to that school because it hurts them in rankings and just like further advertised yield rate and all that. So they won't want to admit you if they don't think they are actually going to go. So if it's your top choice school and you'd love to go there and you would take that spot, tell them that. Now, before I continue, I just wanted to quickly tell you guys about this really awesome resource called Uniportal. Looking at Uniportal's website, they have successful college application examples and real stories by college students. You can view complete application profiles, including the Common App essays, UC and supplemental essays, activity lists, and test scores from successful applicants to help you gain an edge in the college application process. So right here, I'm looking at this girl's profile, and you can click on these different tabs to see all her different essays, and you can see all her different extracurriculars that got her into the school. The first 40 people that sign up for Uniportal using the link down in the description and the pinned comment using my code, Cecile, will get 2 profiles unlocked completely for free. This is a really valuable resource for students that are applying to college and want to see some successful examples of students that got into those schools. So if you're still cranking out some applications, or you know someone that's about to start the essay process, I would definitely encourage this website. Okay, so back to the essay. So I know a lot of websites online basically tell you to organize your letter of interest so that your second paragraph is talking about all your honors, achievements, and all that kind of stuff. And then later on, you talk about why this school and why you want to go there in comparison to other schools and all that kind of stuff. But I followed a slightly different route. So I don't really like that approach as much because I feel like it makes your essay look a little separated because those paragraphs are standalone. And if you like that, that's great because it's an organized way and it's still a good way to write your letter. However, I followed an approach that kind of combines the two so that it reads more smoothly and it's more integrated. So ignoring your academic awards and those kind of awards that are kind of standalone, I think it's really helpful if you basically group together your extracurricular achievements. So like your internships, your new research positions, your advancements in your clubs and activities and that kind of stuff with things that are already existing at that school, and that you talk about those one at a time and kind of link them together. Let me explain what I mean. So this letter of continued interest was for Brown, and even though I applied regular decision, I wanted to send a letter of continued interest just to show the new things that I've done since applying January 1st, just because it's such a long time span between the time that I applied and the time the acceptances were coming out. So I said, Science Olympiad was influential in building my confidence as a woman in STEM, and at the Brown Science Olympiad Invitational, I plan to spread this confidence to others by continuing the tournament's legacy and using my knowledge to contribute to tests. So that's my intro, and then I brought it back to me and my achievements in high school. My Science Olympiad team has competed in 3 tournaments so far. Recently, in mid-January, my partner and I placed second in the anatomy and physiology event out of 45 teams competing. And just last week, our team competed at blank university, and I placed in the top 4 in all 3 of my events. As part of the Brown Undergraduate Science Olympiad organization, I'll be able to work on the other side of the invitational, organizing events for high schoolers. Additionally, I'll be able to empower young women who feel outnumbered and overlooked while competing in male-dominated events. I've done this as a scholar for blah, 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 and I continue to connect it to another achievement that I had. So basically what I did with this is integrating what I had already done in high school or at that moment since applying to what I wanted to do at that school, just to show that I was interested in continuing my extracurricular achievements. I knew exactly how I could do that at that institution. And then I added some motivational, nice kind of talk about like woman empowerment and that kind of stuff, just because that's the type of person I am. And that's what I wanted to convey to the admissions office. So that was a really niche example, but let me give you another one. So let's say that you started research and you got a new position, but you got this position after applying to the school. So you want to write an update about it. So if you publish something, or if you're just getting the experience out of that research, you can connect what you were doing and what you were researching at your high school level to what the university has right now with their current research projects and labs, just to show how you'd have that continuation of your skills and just the material in general. So if you're in high school doing research on malaria, maybe it would be really beneficial to look at that university's malaria labs, or maybe even just infectious disease labs, or anything that's really similar enough for you to bridge that connection and show your continued interest. So I basically followed that structure throughout my letter of continued interest, basically continually integrating these new achievements with the things that I wanted to do at that school throughout the essay. And then at the very end, I basically added like more statements about why that school, just to kind of continue my interest. There are also other things that you can add to your letter if you did those things. And so you could add an in-person tour, or maybe even an online tour, since a lot of universities still offer that with the pandemic and everything right now. You could even talk about like professors that you might have emailed for research, or if you emailed a professor just to know more about a class and that kind of stuff. You can basically include any interaction you've had with like current students, alumni, just anyone who's associated with the university, just because it shows that you've done your research and you're more and more interested in the university, and you're really going above and beyond to show that. Everyone has different things to mention in this letter of continued interest, but that really varies on an individual basis, and I just wanted to give you guys a good summary. But before I sign off today, I wanted to talk about things that you definitely should not do in your letter of continued interest. Even if you went back and looked at your application and you didn't really like the essays that you submitted, do not rewrite these essays or write a new essay for your letter of continued interest, because submitting that will probably just annoy them and not really help your situation. Additionally, do not beg, because it's one thing to say like, oh, this school is my top choice and I would go here if I was given a spot. And it's another thing to say like, please, like my parents went here, my friends went here, it's been my dream school since I was like 5. Like those are 2 different things, so don't beg and plead. Obviously, most of the kids that apply to that school want to go to that school, so begging won't really help you in that situation. Also, don't compare your school to other schools. So if you're writing this as kind of like an update letter, or you're on the wait list for a school, don't say like, oh, this school admitted me and they're higher ranked than you guys, so I don't know why you're not admitting me, or just something like that, or just basically bragging that you got another acceptance or just reached out to from another school. Don't compare schools, don't even bring up other institutions unless it's like applicable to your work and extracurriculars and research and that kind of stuff. The most important thing with all of this is to be professional throughout your letter and just be professional in this interaction. So for that reason, I also really recommend having a parent or teacher, or maybe even a friend, look over your letter and make sure that you're coming across the right way. Also, one more thing I wanted to add, try not to make your letter more than a page, because overall, I don't think they want to read letters that are more than a page, and I've seen this tip everywhere online. Like when I was applying, that's what I was struggling with, but somehow you got to get that word count down or shrink the font. Overall, that's it for today's video, but I really hope this video was helpful for you guys, and I know I haven't been uploading as much recently, but I'm definitely going to try to, especially next semester and in the summer as I get more free time. There are so many other videos I want to make, especially on campus and everything, so look out for those. I'm definitely posting another move-in vlog when I move in again, second semester, if I move in again. So yeah, stay tuned, stay subscribed, stay clicking that bell to get notified every time I post, and comment below if you have any questions. And also one more thing, I have like over 100 DMs right now. You can try to DM me if you have questions, but I've been trying to get to them and they're kind of piling up. So no guarantee that I can get to those, but I will try my best. But yeah, thank you guys. Have a good day and good luck.